Guess what, guys? You're never gonna believe this. Chinese citizens who have an American green card are getting their Chinese citizenships canceled. Is that right? What's going on, really?
I don't think that, no, the nationality is not canceled, but, okay.
So my wife, she heard from her father that she was going to get her citizenships canceled because she hadn't been back in China for a while. And
my dad said he heard it from news, a lot of news on TV. I was like, that must be on Facebook, something like that, you know, news, false news. And I was like, no, it can't be true. Like, how can they just kick me out of China? I still have Chinese passport.
Well, you're already out of China. They're not kicking you anywhere. But you would be left without a citizenship. And that's what he was saying, right?
He said, I won't be a Chinese citizen anymore. And I was like, no, it can't be right. And just recently, I heard more people talking about it on my friends group, and I searched for it, and it says this year in November, they're gonna do a large scale, like national-wide permanent residential research survey, like see how many people you have in this household. They're gonna really go knock on your door, count how many people in that house, and if you don't live there or you haven't been living in that house or in that town for so many years, and they're gonna ask where you are. If you are living in a foreign country, they confirm it, and then they're gonna have to cancel your permanent residence.
So basically, if they knock on the door and you're not home, then they're gonna cancel your permanent residence?
They're gonna ask where you are. And if you say, oh, she's in another city working, oh, where does she work? What's her phone number? We're gonna call her. She needs to come back home and register for this. And if you can't prove where you live right now, what your documents are, you're gonna have all the documents.
So is this like a one-time deal right on November they're gonna do that?
Yes, they do it once every few years or something like that.
You mean they've already done it, or that's what they're gonna start?
I think this is the 7th time they've done it.
This is? So they've done this in the past.
They're gonna cancel, so there are a few group of people that are gonna cancel, if I remember it right, that are gonna cancel the permanent residence is people who are dead from the family.
You're not allowed to live there.
You have to register, say this person is out.
You have to say that they are dead and they are out of. Okay, so Chinese citizens have something called a HuKou. And what is a HuKou?
HuKou is permanent residence proof.
Okay, so every family has this book, and it has all of their names, and it has where they reside, right? And how is it used, and why is it important?
It is like in America, as an American citizen, he can do anything. He can go anywhere with a passport. But in China, you have to have HuKou, the permanent residence, to prove where you're from. It's almost like your ID. You have to have that to get an ID card. You have to have that to get an ID card so you can buy a train ticket. Like.
Right, yeah, so I lived in China from 2008 to 2012, and during that time, you didn't need an ID to buy train tickets. And I think one of the reasons that they wanted to do the ID was because there were so many people that were just buying up tickets. These scam guys, they would buy up a lot of tickets, and then the seats would all be sold out. Well, they would go outside and they would resell them for more than what they were worth at that time. So I think that's one way to control that. But one of the drawbacks is that me as a foreigner, I couldn't just buy a ticket like the Chinese guys do, because they had like an express line. Basically, it's like a kiosk where a Chinese citizen can just use their ID and bleep, and avoid the line and just get a train ticket right there. Now buses, I think the buses still use cash. I don't know about every single place, but I know some of the smaller places, they use cash. for buying tickets, and you didn't need to show an ID at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But for trains and planes, that's the kind of thing that you need an ID for.
Mm-hmm.
So what else has HuKou been used for besides just getting your ID card?
It's linked with your social security. So if
you have social security in China,
like everybody who works has a job, they have to put money in the social security so they can get retirement money from that.
So what if you run a noodle shop? Like these Lanzhou Lamian guys. Everything's just cash with them, right? They're pretty much screwed, aren't they?
I think they still pay tax and then they get, I don't know how that works. Like
right.
They have to register as a small business.
Yeah.
And then they still pay tax. But I think it's your choice to pay social security or not for your retirement. But a lot of people, most people do. Like if you go to work and come back like from 9 to 5 o'clock, that most people pay social security. And then if they work in a foreign country and they're thinking about moving back for retirement or something, they can't get the retirement money now because they don't have a permanent residence to prove that they have anything to do with.
So okay, so your HuKou Ben, let's say for example that your name is canceled out of the HuKou Ben.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do once you've returned? Let's say you don't want to live in America anymore, you want to go back.
Okay, let's say if I'm here right now and my permanent residence is canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if I want to go back to China, we're gonna get to the airport. I have a Chinese passport. They're gonna let me through, but we're not gonna be able to buy a ticket to go back to my hometown.
Even with a valid ID from the past. I think that's up in the air, right?
That's up in the air. I mean, that's a future, like.
So it's. Well, maybe a bus though, maybe a taxi, huh?
No, you can still do that, but you have to apply for an ID, like how do you say?
It's not the same thing
permanent,
as
not permanent, 暂时的
a temporary
ID card to buy a ticket.
Oh, okay.
For me.
Just for you, okay. For me, it's the same. I'm screwed either way. So, yeah, even if we go back as a family, then that's whatever.
I cannot buy a house. I cannot own a property in China.
But you would be able to get that back if you moved back, right?
If I move back to China, I have to apply.
You'd have to go through a process
to restore my permanent residence. I don't know how much of a hassle that is to go through. It's a future problem, but
right.
Yeah. So without the ability to buy a house, you cannot send your kids to the school in that city.
Oh, you have to have a house to do that?
You have to own a house and with a...
What if you rent?
No, that doesn't count.
So if you rent, you can't send your kids to school?
No, to the school, the public school in that area.
You can send them to private school, right?
With a lot of money, yes.
Nah.
Probably 20 or 30 times more the money.
Yeah, I figured that.
Uh-huh.
Well, one thing that we wanted to do, that we decided to do personally, was I was going to keep her as a Chinese citizen and just renew the green card year after year, because I figured that down the line there would be some kind of benefit to having that Chinese citizenship. You know, China is rising more and more and more, and America and China right now are butting heads. Why do you think that China is doing this now? What is the reason for it? I think all that you can do is guess, really, because nobody's going to really issue out and say, this is the reason why we're doing anything.
I think there are a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Since the COVID-19 happened right now, around this time, and China has had it under control pretty well. So a lot of people, Chinese people who lived in foreign countries, they're trying to go back to China, and so Chinese are pretty proud about this because they feel like we are really protecting our people, and when you need me, you're rushing back, but when you're done with this pandemic, you're running out again. So they feel like you are running back for the resources and you are not contributing to the society. So that might be one of the reasons that I'm guessing. Like, if you wanna enjoy the benefits here, you gotta, stand by us and be here. Yes, I don't know.
You can't leave.
And another reason might be like the relationship between China and America right now. It's kind of, they're trying to.
We've got two world leaders right now that are hitting heads, and there's a trade war going on, and there's a lot of disagreement.
It's very sad to see that, because like to see the two lands that you love, they're not getting well. And
yeah. So back at the end of 2012, when I was still in China, I saw, and it might have been later on, it might have been a year or two afterwards, Obama was still in, and say what you will about politicians or whatever, but he did get Americans a 10-year visa into China. And I've got my son with a 10-year visa. Me and my son both have a 10-year visa with 2-month entry. My daughter's got 10-year with 4-month entry. So that's pretty awesome. I don't know if they're going to continue doing that kind of thing if we're at a trade war with each other. So yeah, tell me about Shanghai. Now, Shanghai's been doing this for a little while now, right?
I think they did the permanent residence cancellation in 2018, if I remember
They did
right.
it 2 years ago. Yeah.
2 years ago. That's the first city that started doing this.
And this is excluding the rest of the mainland.
Yeah.
Now, why would they do that?
Because one of the busiest cities, everything new happens in big cities. They want to try it out and see.
I think to me it would make sense. So Shanghai is basically like New York.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very thick, dense, populated place.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got a lot of people that are just buying up, if they're just buying
Property.
they're buying up property and they're not even there, then maybe I can kind of, well, no. As an American, I can't really see that. As an American, as a capitalist, I kind of see, you buy your place. If you want to rent it out, you do what you want to with your place. But in China, things work different than that, and they're thinking about population control, I think, and probably thinking about, well, like you said, if
they're probably trying to attract more educated people back.
kind of like their way of giving them incentive to force them to come back.
I don't know how.
You better come back or you're going to lose it all.
It's almost like you pick a side.
No, let me ask you this: Would they lose their property? Would the property go back to the government? No.
I don't think so.
That would suck.
I don't think so, but you have to.
Because if you lose your HuKou ban, and that's what allows you to own the property.
Yeah, that's why they are.
But they're going to take it away.
That's why they're announcing it now, so you can do your things. So that hassles a lot of business owners and who has a lot of investments or.
So it's like saying that you got 4 months right now to permanently move back to China, or else you're.
You don't have to permanently. Like you probably. So
you just gotta go say hi.
You gotta stay there for at least 3 months every year. So if you stay here.
Does it have to be consecutive? Does it have to be straight? Like it's got to be 3 months in a row, or can you be here 1 month now?
No.
Another month?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I'm not into the details because I'm not going back that often.
Right.
I was just looking at like I'm a green card holder. And I've been here for several years, and my permanent residence is going to be canceled. So when I go back, I can't inherit. I don't know. I was worried about my bank account. I was worried about the house that my dad owns.
But I'm not a citizen. I don't got a bank account over there.
I think I still have it. My ID.
Better have it.
If my ID card works. I think it works. I was like in the beginning when I heard the news, I was really nervous. I was like, how about my money?
Oh, so sorry. 你的钱没了. Oh.
I don't think they're doing it that way, like taking all the money or something. It's just like you have more trouble to do things in the future, like even things as little as buying a ticket or sending your kids to school or going back to China. It's just like, I'm not welcome there.
You're not welcome to travel inside China. We'll let you in, but you can't travel around the inside. That's kind of funny. That's weird. Well, okay, but you would need the HuKou to renew the ID, but if you've already gotten ID,
I don't know if my ID is gonna work because
you think that they'll cancel the ID?
I don't know. There's so many mysterious possibilities that might happen in the future.
And what sources did you hear? Or we have to link. We're gonna link what we find to this video so that you can check it out yourself too. But what sources have you found that have talked about this?
Okay,
any reliable source?
Reliable source.
Yeah. Yeah, China.gov.
We'll check the link down below.
Okay. All right. So, anyway, turns out you're not going to get your citizenship revoked, but they're going to definitely do something to the way that you live life over there or your status to...
I think another big reason is that they're trying to clear out all the governors, not like the people who work for the government. That if the bribing is going viral and they're trying to take money and put in their foreign bank account and then try to get another green card and live there, that's easy for them to transfer money and do things under the table. And one of the reasons they do that is to control that, so the people who work for the government, they know they can't have a green card anymore. Oh, that's one of the policies. Like if you work for the government, no matter how little the job is, you cannot have a foreign green card.
Right. And one last point that I wanted to add too is, as a foreigner, I cannot buy or own land in China. Even though I was there for 4.5 years, I started thinking about a more permanent way of life. I didn't know what to do. Everything would have had to have been through my wife, which is fine. It could have all gone through her. But when I started thinking about stability and being a provider and my career in general, that's one of the big reasons that I came back. Now, looking back at it now, I asked them, joking around, I talked with the police that were there and I was like, hey, can I get a Shanghai? I want one of these ID cards. And they're like, no, we can't give this to you, because I'm tired of the hassle of using my passport to go out and get tickets. I just wanted something to scan just so that they could give it to me. If they want my number, that's fine, get my number.
That's actually not the hardest part. Imagine if you do live in China, being my partner, that would be even worse. Like, what kind of visa are you gonna get? Because you're not gonna be getting a Chinese green card.
Right, so we can actually get something called a HuKou visa, which is a family visa, and I think that me and the kids would all have to go through the
interview.
We'd have to go through the gauntlet. They'd want to do the body check on us, probably X-ray, give us blood tests and all that kind of junk. It almost seems to me like if you have a long enough entry period that you could just stay there and just go back and forth. But
yeah, you can stay there, but you cannot do what you want. You cannot buy property.
Right.
And even if you buy it, you don't really own it. It's almost like renting for 70 years and then. Yeah.
Right. So that's about it. Do you want to add anything else to this? That's a no. So we're going to go ahead and shut this off, and I want to say thank you for watching the video, and we're a new channel here. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we're going to continue updating with all of our stuff. So thank you very much for watching.